Hello? Is that loud, James? Wow, that's really loud. Okay. Thank you for coming to this book reading. And I hope you guys are enjoying the free vodka that's happening right now. And I know right now we are in a bar, so that people like talking, because I talk when I'm in a bar. But there are a couple people that are here for the reading, so if you could appreciate their experience, that would be amazing. I have a couple passages to read with the wonderful band, the Stacy Diller Trio, and afterwards we will be finishing up with Aaron. And I hope you enjoy. Okay, thank you. Forward. I've always been fascinated by all things love and lust. My preoccupation with love has been rooted in the ultimate loss of it. When my mother passed away when I was a young teenager in New Mexico, it sent me on a blazing journey from the depths of Dante's Inferno to where I am now. Slightly bruised and burned, but like a phoenix from the ashes, wiser, stronger, and most importantly, with my humor intact. Throughout this book, I've inserted real-life conversations and experiences with men, each like stock characters in a comic drama that is relationships. As the brilliant writer and feminist bell hooks wrote to me once, "To love that sustains, I wish you the same." And as the Beatles said, "All you need is love." And as an ex-boyfriend said, "Yeah, that and $2 will get you a ride on the subway." Introduction. I had ended my long-term relationship with Matthew just the year before. There was a series of knots to untie and new wounds to tend to that were still painful for me. Moving out of the home we shared together, Matthew got the furniture in his own apartment in the city, and I stayed in my own apartment in the city with a roommate. The new division that would now exist amongst our friends and our family, along with months of explaining what went wrong. Our relationship had grown stagnant. We were too young to say something so complacent, and so on and so forth. Untying the knots gave me a simultaneous sense of freedom and deep loneliness. I had to relearn what it was like to be single. Oddly enough, my first week without Matthew brought me to the realization I hate grocery shopping. As a single woman, I always found I spent way too much money at the grocery store with no food to show for it once I got home. I had forgotten how to pair things that made sense. I would buy tin cans of beans, no rice, lettuce but no other vegetables to make a salad, and pasta, no sauce. Matthew was a chef and therefore an excellent grocery shopper and a cook. My sleeping patterns had become irregular. I no longer slept as deeply because I always felt Matthew protected me in my sleep. I had forgotten to sleep without him, and so I began to sleep in the middle of the bed. I still really missed him and the comfort he brought me. When I was sick and at my most vulnerable, I would still call Matthew and ask for his help. Even in our separation, Matthew felt a sense of loyalty to me. I brought you some vegetable soup, ibuprofen, lemon whiskey, honey, and some Theraflu, Matthew said when he showed up to my front door. He had a cigarette hanging out of his mouth and taking the train in from Brooklyn to bring me my cure-all medicine. "I'll make you a hot toddy, but then I gotta go. I got band practice," Matthew said as he walked into my apartment. Sometimes at night I would stare at my bedroom window of my new apartment and look at the moon. The violinist was living on a floor above me, practiced Bach's Brandenburg Concerto No. 4 over and over again. It gave me a sense of hope, but it also made me wonder, was I making a huge mistake in letting Matthew go? He was a companion and a friend. Was I selfish to want more? I didn't know, and so I had to find out. I couldn't imagine my life without Matthew, but I wanted to remember who I was as an independent single woman in New York and to see what else was out there in a city overflowing with eligible bachelors. Men tend to get a bad rap in New York with their predictable Peter Pan syndrome, flying from one woman to another woman and never feeling like they have to grow up. However, in reality, they're just as beaten down and nerve-wracked as the city's women. I would watch men at bars as they checked out women, and I would watch as they would look at me or one of my beautiful girlfriends, and I could just see the internal thought process. I would talk to her, but I can't be bothered. She's probably fucked up. Or she'll think I'm fucked up. And I'll just order another PBR and I'll go home and play my Nintendo Wii or look at porn. I've lived in 7 different cities in my life, but I have never seen such beautiful women work so hard to keep a man's attention as they do in New York City. It's utterly confounding. It's utterly confounding. It was no wonder then that in my year of being single, I had become the victim of New York men's attention deficit disorder. Even though I had no intention of adding men's names to my list of lovers the way Santa Claus adds names to his naughty or nice list, it seems I had very little choice. All of the men I had dated in New York were so different from one another. Among them was the beautiful investment banker named Joseph from France, who told me my body was like art as he slowly traced his fingers over my breasts and stomach. Then there was the handsome but impatient Turkish fashion designer named Payman, who handcuffed me in public on our second date, saying that he would only unlock the handcuffs if I closed my eyes and let him kiss me from head to toe. Then there was the sensitive and adoring male model, Christopher from Germany, who I refused to sleep with, but that didn't stop him from giving me such great head in the cab that I nearly passed out. And how could I forget the exasperating experience of the energetic and talented Russian violinist Kirill, who would not stop doing Borat impressions long after the movie was popular. As I sat in a low-lit Moroccan restaurant in Soho drinking vodka neat after vodka neat while listening to this world-trained Juilliard classic violinist suggesting we could have sexy time, it would be nice, I was suddenly nauseated, and it wasn't from the food. Sadly, I slept with him anyways. I snuck out of my bed at 5 a.m. to get ready for work. I realized when I got home I had left the last of my contact lenses in his bathroom. I knew I wasn't going back for them, and I definitely had no interest in seeing him again. As I jumped into the shower, I realized there wasn't enough hot water and lavender body wash in the world that I could wash off the shame of that previous night. My contact lenses weren't the only thing I had left at his house. I believe my dignity was somewhere there too. But this is the reality of dating in New York. Disposable dating is the name of the game. It seems the Statue of Liberty wasn't the only woman who was opening her harbor to the foreigners of the world. Not a weekend went by when I wasn't kissing someone new or exchanging numbers with another potential suitor. It got to the point where I'd walk into a nightclub, look at a man I desired, and he would follow me into a dark corner where I would kiss for hours. I felt a connection to none of them. I wasn't interested in one-night stands, only deep kissing and new hands on my body. I wanted to find a real connection, but it eluded me. And I settled for inconsequential conversations and kissing that ranged from sensual and passionate to clumsy and biting. All of these men revealed far too much of themselves to me, or at least the picture they were trying to paint. After hours of making out, they would tell me about their problems with an ex-girlfriend. They would divulge why they were worried their dreams would never come true, or worse, how this was the first time they had cheated on a girlfriend. I was their confessional, and I began to wonder, is any man in New York capable of a normal conversation? I became the man, stating, I hope you don't mind, but I gotta get up really early in the morning, and then ask them to politely leave. I had forgotten that being single took up so much energy. It began to feel like a second job, one that I was ready to quit.